Day one of NFL free agency is officially behind us, so now who's left for Kansas City to sign and improve their squad in 2024? That's the topic of today's show. We appreciate you watching here on the Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Jay Sanders, and we got two topics. First one, best free agents still available, along with included in there some wide receiver free agent rumors are really hot right now. There's one receiver in particular that, well, seems like he's the favorite to land in Kansas City. But if you're tired of this, you want the Chiefs to make a move, do something, like the video, man. I really appreciate that. Plus, it helps the Chiefs move along. I guarantee you, the more likes we get, the more likely the Chiefs will be to sign somebody. And, man, I don't know about you. I'm ready for some news to break. Speaking of news to break, hopefully it could be Curtis Samuel because the news on him is hot. They were talking about him potentially being a target for Kansas City before free agency, and now there's supposedly exploratory talks behind a contract with Curtis Samuel. Now, Nate Taylor had this last night saying you might want to start watching film of Darnell Mooney or Curtis Samuel. Now, I do have an update on Darnell Mooney, unfortunately, because I got to be honest. We were going to talk about him in this show. And right as we were about to film, guess what? Mooney signed with the Falcons. What do you know? That's just the way it happens, though. I mean, things go wrong and you got to restuff. So, oh well, Curtis Samuel is a great option. I really like what I've seen from him in his time at Washington. He played really well this past season for his stats, 613, 62 receptions, but that doesn't speak the entire story. I think if you look at the way he played, and the way that he carried himself in Washington, I think it's probably a good fit. There's a lot of stuff that fits well with the Chiefs organization and the way they like to have their wide receivers. I've said it before. He reminds me of Rashee Rice. He reminds me of a couple different guys that the Chiefs have been able to use well. Plus, if you're going to draft somebody on top of this, your team could potentially be amazing. 16 games played last year, 613, but you see previous year, 17 games played, 656, and then back with the Panthers in his time in 2020, 851 yards. This guy has the ability to be a top-tier level wide receiver. We just need to see if he could do that with Patrick Mahomes, which I don't know about you, but I think anybody could be that with Patrick Mahomes. Would you like the Chiefs to sign Curtis Samuel, though? Let me know in the comment section down below. Type S for sign, type P for pass. Curious to see what y'all guys think. S for sign, P for pass for Curtis Samuel. The second guy we're going to talk about has been on the show multiple times, and he is still available on the board for the Kansas City Chiefs, the left tackle, the big unit himself, Tyron Smith, who I'm surprised has not signed with anybody. Now, he is a little bit on the older side, but still, I would expect a 2-3 year deal for him at this point. His PFF grade last year, pretty solid. Over 80, 1 sack allowed, 1 hit allowed, 16 hurries, and 3 penalties. Now, you think, well, Jace, why do we need an offensive lineman? Our offensive line was great last year. Yeah, it was, but still, there's always room for improvement, and Donovan Smith is a free agent. I would rather have Tyron Smith at left tackle than Donovan Smith. Just trade out of Smith. We already got Trey Smith. Keep adding in those easy last names. Now, Jawan Taylor could see a restructurement of his contract, but he'll be back in 2024. And then Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, obviously the mainstays of this Chiefs line. With Donovan Smith, though, you could bring him back. That's still an option for Brett Veach and the Chiefs. The likelihood of that, I don't know right now, because I feel like if that was going to happen, that would have already happened. I think that there's just more important situations that the Chiefs are worrying about right now. There's also the option of getting that guy that you drafted last year, Wanya Morris, who started a couple games, a shot. He seems like he is ready to play, and, well, I want to see if he's available to be that starter. I think from now we've seen that he is really one of the top targets for the Chiefs and played well in the times that we saw him, and so that's certainly an option. Wanya out of Oklahoma did start in that Packers game. He had the worst PFF grade, but he didn't allow a sack. I think if you look at the way that this guy has improved over this time with the Chiefs and the times that he played, it was pretty solid. The Chiefs may just elect to say, hey, we drafted him for a reason. He's our starting left tackle next year. No reason to go sign somebody and waste money on that. We need some wide receivers. We need some secondary members. Well, we'll figure that out. There's one guy, though, that I think you may be surprised to see on this list. Chase Young. I'll tell you right now, I know. You're thinking, what in the world, Jace? What are you talking about? How could we sign Chase Young? Well, I'll tell you that in just a second. But I have to stop here because, well, the bosses are upset at me. You see, the like numbers for the Chiefs have been down. And listen, the Raiders keep going up with their likes, and all these 49ers fans, they got all their likes all secured. But guess what? For some reason, likes have just been down for the Chiefs, and well, I don't want to see that anymore. So let's get to 600 likes on this video, make the bosses happy, and that way we can push more videos out. I don't want them to be mad at me because if they get that, maybe they're going to not let me do as many videos. And I'm pumping out videos pretty nice this past couple weeks, so let's keep going with that. Get 600 likes. Just go down there and hit that like button. All right, Chase Young. He's our third target, and I think that you're probably wondering why in the world are we talking about him. Well, the Chiefs need a defensive end. They could really use some depth in that. And Chase Young, you just need a one-year deal. That's what he's looking for in some ways because, well, if he was looking for more, I feel like he would have been signed by now. Just give him a one-year exploratory deal. It's not like you're giving him too crazy of an amount. And with this, you also are able to improve your edge, and then you can re-sign Charles Omenihu next year. Now, Charles should be back in the latter half of the season in 2024, and so that's why your depth would be insane. Think about a defensive line next year with Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, Chase Young, and Charles Omenihu at the back half of the season. That's better than the Raiders. I'll tell you that. They have Christian Wilkins. Yeah, they have Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby, but that would be better than Chase Young, Chris Jones, and George Karlaftis and Charles Omenihu. It would not be anywhere close. Now, last year, he split his time between two teams. He was with the Commanders, then got traded to the Niners. There was talk of him not playing to his full effort, but he still finished the year with 7.5 sacks. Had the QB hits go down a little bit in this back half of the season with the Niners. Just 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. And again, his effort was definitely questioned in that time zone. But you can't knock that Chase Young is still a heck of a big talent in this NFL landscape. And on top of which, again, for Chase Young, you're going to get the chance to come and play for the Chiefs and go for a three-peat. Now, you could also sign Mike Danna. We've talked about him on the show and how amazing he was last year when Omenihu was out for that 6-game suspension. Could we see the same thing? Danna gets signed for a one-year deal. We have him in until Omenihu gets back. That could be a potential possibility. Now, Danna, I think, is deserving of a starting role in some places. 50 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks. By the way, he was only a starter for about 8 weeks. 3 pass breakups. I mean, this guy was really, really hot before Omenihu came back and still played a pivotal role heading into the playoffs and toward the Super Bowl as well. Could see another deal where, hey, 1 year, we're going to have you and kind of pair you with Omenihu until he gets back from his ACL injury. Point of this being, you need depth on the edge. You don't have the luxury of what you did last year with Karlaftis, with Danna, with Omenihu, and with Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Now you just have the rookie, and that's it. That's the only guy you have under contract right now besides Karlaftis. You need someone on that right edge. Who is it going to be? Maybe they trust FAU. Maybe it's the same situation like I talked about with Wanya Morris, and they trust the rookie to come out here and perform in his second year. Maybe that's what happens. But if I'm Brett Veach, I want to make sure that I'm not reliant on that. I want to make sure that I have all my bases covered. And so I'm going to get somebody. If that's Mike Danna, great. If it's Chase Young, great. You just need somebody for a one-year deal. Heck, go get Frank Clark. I don't even care. Just go get somebody because this depth is not great on the defensive edge. Our last target we're going to talk about here is the free safety Jordan Poyer, who was released by the Buffalo Bills in what was a mass exodus in Buffalo just a couple days back. Now, he played well in 2023, and it was kind of surprising to see him released. But because of the Bills struggling with cap space, well, this was kind of needed. His QB rating when he allowed it was over or right under 100, which isn't great. But again, he's a safety, so his completion percentage, not bad. Only 262 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 pass breakups, and no interceptions. Poyer would be a good fit with the Kansas City Chiefs for the past 4 years. Played pretty well in Buffalo, had some good years, had some mid-years. Back in 2021, really good year. 5 interceptions, 93 tackles, 9 pass breakups. This guy was a stellar safety, and he would fit well because you, on top of which, would have Brian Cook back. You would have Shamari Carter back. Only thing is, are they going to be willing to spend the money? Because Poyer's going to be a little bit more expensive than maybe some other options. Which is why Mike Edwards is also a possibility, as Edwards was a great addition to the Chiefs squad from the Buccaneers this past season, and again, an underrated thing that Brett Veach did in the offseason, which I expect to see some more of that this year. The only thing is, it seems as though Mike Edwards may be wanting to get some money. He had this tweet just a couple days back saying, "I'm tired of all this underrated BS. I've been underrated my whole football career. F that, I need more." I have to think that has to be toward the Chiefs of, you were trying to give me this contract, you're underrating me, I'm not going to get that. No. I don't know. I mean, it's just exploratory and all that, but Mike Edwards, I would love to have him back, but I'm not going to say that the Brett Veach is going to come here and pay him what a oodles of money to come back and play safety when you have Brian Cook, you have Shamari Connor as your two starting safeties right there, you have Justin Reed, like, you're good. You don't really need somebody else. It's just about making sure that depth chart is full. You're not going to pay somebody crazy money. Now, Poyer, he could fit in well because, well, he may not take that much. It'd be a one-year deal, and you can go win a Super Bowl. I think that's the biggest thing. You tell every single guy you're talking with, yeah, you have a chance to come win a Super Bowl. How about that? I don't know about you. I'm not talking to my kids, oh, yeah, I signed this 3-year, $100 million contract when I was playing in the NFL. Okay, cool. Did you win a Super Bowl? No. Okay, then who cares? Like, I understand all these athletes are getting paid a ton of money. I would like to get paid a ton of money. But Super Bowls last forever. That's all I'm saying. Pick a free agent you would like the Chiefs to sign that are still available. We got Curtis Samuel, type S. Got Chase Young, type C. Tyron Smith, type T. And Jordan Poyer, type J. Who would you like to sign? S for Samuel, C for Chase, T for Tyron, J for Jordan. Samuel would be so freaking perfect, man. I would love to see Curtis Samuel with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's the one that seems the most likely to sign in Kansas City. Now, although I do think that there's a lot of good options, I think Curtis Samuel is the best fit in terms of getting a wide receiver that is going to be able to improve your staff. We know that this team needs to continue to improve themselves, even if they've won back-to-back Super Bowls. Doesn't matter. You got to get better every single year. Curtis Samuel, come on. Come over. Come play for the Kansas City Chiefs. You'll get yourself a Super Bowl. Plus, hey, you get to catch passes from Patrick Mahomes. What's better than that? We appreciate y'all watching. Hit that subscribe button. And, hey, if the Chiefs do make a move, we're going to have a video on it. Plus, we'll be live later today going through some free agency stuff and just kind of talking with y'all, doing some questions, all that stuff. So hit that sub button. Make sure you're joining us all week long here on the Chiefs Report. But for now, Chiefs Kingdom. Peace out.